Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Girlfriends After Show here on JLJ Media. I'm James Lott Jr. We're still talking season one. We're getting through it. This is the DVD I got, of course. But starting, where this is airing in a couple of weeks, it'll be on Netflix, September 11th. Girlfriends is coming to Netflix. Very excited. I have no affiliation with Netflix, but I've been doing this after show, as you know, for several months now, and I'm very excited that it's coming on. So I will be covering more episodes. And you can actually watch it on Netflix and then watch my after show. And I want to say a shout out to all the Girlfriends cast that was on the show that are about to get some more attention. And hopefully they'll come on the show here too. And some have actually noticed my after show. So thank you so much about that. We're talking about episode 8 in season 1, Pregnant Pause. It aired in 2000 in November. And this one was very interesting because we had two different things going on. That I keep watching it. I keep saying this every episode, but I keep watching this going, this show was really good at the subjects it tackled. I mean, and it tackled them just with, regularity. We had the Lynn storyline where we get to learn more about Lynn's upbringing in Seattle, being a light-skinned Black girl adopted by a white family and growing up with only white folks. This is key because throughout the series, we get glimpses of her life. We get to meet her parents at some point. We meet her birth parents at some point, and we meet one of her sisters. In that episode, wait till I get to that episode to talk about. I'm actually trying to find that actress. If you guys know who that actress is, I'm trying to find that actress because I'd have her on the show because I want to talk to her about this playing such an interesting role that you just didn't see on daytime. Nighttime, daytime, you didn't see it anywhere. And again, ahead of their time. Then the other side was the possibility of Joan being pregnant and the way they presented it with her career, her burgeoning career, her age, what she wants in life. Is it a good time? So there's two different storylines, two actually kind of heavy or serious storylines, but not really heavy. They did it in a very comedic way in some parts. So Lynn's mom sends her a box of her stuff, a lot of stuff from the 80s. There's Debbie Gibson. It was very, very, the props are funny. A Pink Flamingo, a Beta tape. Now, I heard back in the day that Beta, we saw a Beta machine. Beta was actually better quality than VHS. But VHS is the one that took off. Which is one of those things where our machine loaded from the top. So it pop up, you put the tape in, push it down, and all the different it was big monstrosity is what it was. It was crazy. There's a tape of her singing, the VH7 singer, We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's. They have a new documentary out. It's really good on Showtime. I think it's HBO or Showtime. Bermuda shorts and a skateboard. All very 80s things. And I'm around their age, so it's kind of funny to see that. Joni and Joan, we learned, made an MTV audition tape back in the day. We get to see that later. It's kind of funny. Joan thinks she's pregnant. She calls Tony her best friend. It's Big Hips Marcus. We always talk about. And yes, they used a condom, but they go through the conversation that I'm sure many women have had. Well, maybe it's a stress because you know that your period can be late from a myriad of reasons, and so one they thought maybe a stress. But then later, Joan and Maya would talk. So we get like Tony's perspective, and you get Maya's perspective. And Joan's eliminated it's the right time. And I'm sure many women have gone through this and go through this all the time because majority of the time it's the woman who takes care of the baby. Let's just be real and honest. There are great men out there taking care of children, and there are men who are also contributing. Also, I don't make sure it's like that, but for the majority of part, usually the woman is the one starting to figure out the career. Men don't have to figure out the careers and have a baby. It's usually women do. So I feel like this was probably a really great thing to bring up and the conversation open for folks out there who are watching the show. Maya says you can still have a baby and go for your dreams. Is that true or not? I said, I know a lot of women who've done it, a lot of women who've totally done it and have pursued many of their things while raising children. Women are strong. I mean, I think women are just strong. She takes a pregnancy test with the girls there, and it's positive. The girls, of course, rally around her. Supposed to keep a baby. And she has a great line, because people, I guess, have always asked me, my quote of the episode is, "I can't be a mother, I'm still a daughter." That's a very interesting line, right? Because you're living your life a certain way, I mean, without children, because children change everything. I have children, grandchildren, they change everything. But you're the child still, no matter how old you are. If there's no children after you, you are that you have your parents, and it's you. But it's almost very symbolic. It's just like, but no, that means my role in the world is going to completely change. And I thought that's a great line. Maya, of course, who's very religious in the show, abortion is not an option. Lynn brings up adoption, but I thought the conversation was a little insensitive, because they were kind of like, well, you see, look up Maya. I know they're trying to be funny, and friends do this. Maya, we don't want to try to be like Lynn, she's a little crazy, she's going through some stuff. But I just thought it was a little insensitive, kind of. That's my only complaint about the episode. It's kind of like they could have been a little more about adoption. Because I have friends who are like, I could never adopt. I'm like, why? I mean, so biologically someone else's kid. I mean, you can have a kid of your own, and that kid be totally effed up. I mean, I don't think I don't know. I just think adoption's fine. So William comes, and he's very supportive, very sweet scene, and he brings a little rattle toy. And Tony, of course, makes it really funny, and it's a really funny part. If she's a boy or a girl, you can name it Tony. I thought that was kind of cute. Then they take all the names, and it was Willa Toma. A little fine line there too. And later, Joan finds out later she's not pregnant. It kind of cuts to later where she's drawing a bath, and it was a false positive, which happens when she went to the doctor. That's the thing. I always say, you can take these tests, but she should still go to the doctor and get checked out. And she's a little sad. It's kind of like it's funny, you get used to something is going to happen, and then it doesn't happen after all, because you got yourself worked up, and it's kind of like accepting it. And it does, and you're like, oh. And even though you may not want it at the time, you kind of got used to the idea. I totally understand her feelings about that, in terms of just like, not really, wasn't in the plans, but then you kind of like the idea. And so, I mean, again, I just feel for women who have to go through this. So Lynn lets us know she was raised white. She was adopted by her white parents. And Maya admits she likes Bon Jovi. It's kind of a funny part. But Lynn talks about, I know people who are like this, who they were the only Black person in school, the only Black person in the neighborhood. And so now she's trying to introduce her, she says, her Black side to her white side, so to speak. And I'm sure a lot of mixed race people have gone through, multi-race people have gone through this. And a real life person white was fighting for this stuff, this kind of material. And it was played for kind of for comedy. Like I said, it sets up the stage for later, where she has more serious stuff happen in relation to her birth mother, who's white, and her birth dad, who's Black. So it does set us, like, this is kind of like a little introduction. I guess we're still first season, so we're learning about the characters. And I'm glad that Lynn finally got kind of like a big storyline. We're learning about her being super smart, kind of degrees, kind of vagabond, seat of her pants, kind of impulsive thing. But she also comes from a background that we didn't see that much on television. Mixed race wasn't really talked about on television in a way like that. And I love the way that it was talked about on some level, even though I thought it's really a little more. But again, it's just an introduction into, like, later on in the series, where we get more from her. So I thought that was good. There were no guest stars or anything on this episode. It was the girls and William, and it was very very cool. I thought that was another solid episode. So thanks to the writers and everybody involved, I thought it was really good. I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow this Girlfriends After Show on all streaming platforms to listen to your podcast. You can listen to me and like, subscribe, and share with anybody else. The video version of this is on JLJ Media on YouTube, so go ahead and like and subscribe to that. These episodes come out every Saturday. So Saturday, a new episode or two comes out of Girlfriends. So right now, episode 8. So we are still early in the season. We haven't got to the halfway point yet, but we're getting there. Oh, the next ones are good. Yeah, so we're getting there. We're getting halfway through the season. And you can follow me at JLJ Media across all social media platforms, or James Lott Jr. Thanks to all the Girlfriends groups that let me share this on various media. And everyone, Again, it's on DVD, really inexpensive. You can watch it on BET Her. I forgot what seasons are on right now, and CWC. And it's starting September 11th on Netflix. I'm James Lott Jr. and talk to your girlfriends.